Deconstruction is a very normal thing in history. Every single time that churches and synagogues and mosques have changed, it's because there's a little bit of deconstruction. Somebody doesn't like it the way it is. It doesn't set right. And so they decide that they want to make it different. So every major theological, historical, social figure that you can think of had some sort of deconstruction that occurred, that the way it was did not work, and so they wanted to change it. And they usually caused a lot of flack to happen with people around them. Sometimes they got killed. But in any case, history changed because they didn't like it the way it was. So every major religion today had some sort of deconstruction along the way to make it what it is now. So let's think about why people deconstruct. It's cognitive dissonance. So their mind typically will have, their values, their goals, their plans. And when those values, goals, and plans don't reflect what is happening in the church, then there's something that feels kind of wonky. For example, if I care deeply about children and somebody around me is being mean to children, then I'm going to say, okay, that's not right. Their heart may notice something, that they may feel some things that don't feel right. So sometimes there may be a person who's in charge who is unethical, who is abusive, who is unkind. It may be a parent. It may be an uncle. It may be just the pastor or the bishop or whoever it was, and that's not going to feel right. And then you have to ask yourself, is it okay to question this person because they represent God? And then there's a body response thing. So if somebody goes to a religious center and they find that their body is having a certain response or reaction, there's a reason why. It's a valid reason why, and sometimes they're not given permission to question, which is why chapter 1 in my book is it okay to ask questions? Wrong way. So sometimes deconstruction must happen, or else everything else starts to fall apart. Your body starts to fall apart. You feel like you're not going to be able to continue. Lack of boundaries is often related to spiritual wounding. Cognitive dissonance is often spiritual wounding when it comes to changing your beliefs. So deconstruction right now reflects changing one's beliefs from the status quo into something different. And right now there's all sorts of different evangelical denominations and different groups that are changing or wanting to split off or wanting to adjust things because it doesn't feel humane to certain groups of people. So the whole purpose of this book is for spiritual wounding. And so if you have noticed that you have some deconstruction going on, that you're questioning the theology, the way things are done, the rituals, who's in charge, what the requirements are, and the whole 9 yards, you are in deconstruction. And that's okay. That just means that you're thinking critically and assessing if this is something that fits your being or not. The cool thing about humanity is that we are all so completely different from each other, and our identities are not going to be Stepford identities. We cannot all comply and all be the same to be able to match any sort of belief system. And so as we go through this book, and every time I post something, I really want you to consider what your identity is telling you and what do you need to do so that you can be whole. And that means you ask your questions, you deconstruct the house, you rebuild the house, you make the house so it's safe and warm and peaceful and everything that it needs to be to meet compliance with the regulations for that given community, or find a different community that does that does fit the kind of house that you'd like to build. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.